Hey everybody, Andy from Tennis Euphoria, bringing you a review of the Wilson Clash V3 Pro Edition. Now you might have noticed that on my channel I don't often review the Clash line. I have reviewed both of the previous 98 versions, and there's a reason for that. Tennis Euphoria has developed two services. I'm looking to solve the challenge of people not being able to demo a lot of frames, so I offer an on-court demo service for advanced players, and also offer a racket matching service where advanced players can be matched through a series of on-court assessments to their best category that would suit their game, which of course, as part of that, also gives them the opportunity to hit a variety of frames across their match category. But the key thing is that that really works for advanced players. I think intermediate and beginning players can ultimately get a lot more benefit from developing their game rather than necessarily their frame. And of course, someone's game needs to be developed to a certain degree in order for characteristics and swing paths and technique to be developed to such a level that you can then be matched effectively to a frame. But with the previous 98 and the current Pro, you have some sort of aspects of the specs that are relatively advanced. Relatively heavy frame, got a 321 swing weight strung on my frame. So I always like to explore these frames to see whether they are something that I should add to my personal collection, enabling people to then hit with them if they are matched to their broad category. I suppose another way of putting it would be, is this Clash V3 Pro suitable for an advanced player who might be matched to a 100 square inch power racket? So the Clash, and this has some neat features, being that extra string and that extra bit of weight compared to the regular 100 square inch Clash, which again points towards it being possibly a little bit more controlled and suitable to the advanced player. So to talk a little bit about Clash characteristics, obviously we all know that Wilson worked very hard to create a racket that offers power and spin still, but also offers a lot of comfort. And they've done that by creating quite a unique experience in the Clash, something that is powerful, does offer good spin, but is also super soft, one of the softest frames on the market, and as a result, broadly speaking, pretty comfortable. It's worth mentioning some of their technologies. Parallel drilling I always think is good for consistency. 45 has softened up the Ultra really well in the V4. Hit stabilizer technology is interesting because it firms up 3 and 9. Of course, when you have a very flexible flame, you worry a bit about stability, and clearly that technology, whatever it is looking to counter that. But then I think SID3, as I believe they refer to it, is the key thing to discuss, because that is delivering sort of multi-directional bending in Wilson frames. You see it in the shift. I'm sure that is in some way adding to the frame's flexibility and comfort, but it also is, I guess, that double-edged sword where, in my experience, a lot of players who are at more advanced level find that multi-directional bending both in the shift and also the Clash to make it perhaps not as a connected experience as they would like, and often have found the Clashes hard to control. Also, of course, players who like a crisp feel will typically not really enjoy the Clash. So back to the central question of, how does this frame play, and is it something that I should retain in the collection in order for it to be an option for people who are demoing? So I think the Clash, even this Pro version, does offer power and spin that is comparable on a power level to a lot of the power frames. Certainly if you were to hit it next to a Pure Drive Ultra, you're getting similar sort of access to depth, similar easy power. I also think that if you were to compare it to spin orientated frames like the Extreme MP from Head, or even the previous iterations of the Aero, you have a similar launch angle to those frames. I think a lot of the design, particularly in the throat of the Clash, is designed to really work well with that sort of windscreen wiper and vertical hitting path. I do think that the Clash offers actually excellent access to spin, even with the 16 by 20 pattern. There's a lot of spin on offer in this frame. I strung with Babolat Pro Hurricane higher than I usually would string, try and again get a little bit more control out of the frame, and I was getting a lot of spin when I wanted it. That transferred through to excellent slice, I found, and I think that multi-directional bending of the frame really does make the Clash Pro slice very well. And to my surprise, I think possibly down to that multi-directional bending too, get excellent energy return on serve. And I did find that I could direct my serve very well with the Clash. I could serve very, very consistently with this Clash Pro. So, all things considered, extra string pattern, little bit of extra weight, stringing a little bit tighter and with a string that can offer good bite and control. I was finding that I could, quite enjoy playing with the Clash Pro. I could control it. I was sort of developing a bit of feel and connection to where the ball was landing on the string bed, and things weren't totally erratic, which is probably what I expected, to be honest. I think if I had a concern, it would be that it is still hard to control, and that might be sort of fairly obvious. But I do worry a little that if someone was matched to a 100 square inch power frame, are they going to get a lot more control from the current Pure Drive, for example, or the Dunlop FX 500? And in the Pure Drive sense, I think the dampening is so effective now that actually, particularly the current new edition, is quite comfortable too. So it'll be really interesting to see whether this Clash Pro, when I have people go through demo service, picked or not by advanced players. Obviously, it has a really strong place for people who are perhaps advanced, wanting power and spin, but do have a real concern about comfort. So I will be keeping it in the collection, so it's available for demo services when people are matched to a 100 square inch. Not sure how much it will get picked, to be honest. So it isn't a sort of rave review that someone who is at an advanced level should go out and play with because they're missing a trick. The other versions of the Clash I do rate for people who perhaps wouldn't be my customers. The regular 100 I think is an excellent option for intermediate or beginning players. And the Clash 100 UL my son actually uses. He's not a teenager yet. Whether or not he'll stay with that long term, I don't know. So I hope that helps. Something else to consider if you end up on one of our demo services and are in that category. Who knows, maybe you'll be hitting with this frame at some point soon. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.